when I read a script, you know, it's really character and story that I'm really analyzing, and ideally it's a character that, you know, I haven't played before and gives me a chance to, you know, try to explore something new, and a story that I'm excited by, that I'd want to go see as a you know, movie-going, you know, audience member. So you know, when I read Jumper, it appealed to me on both those levels. You know, it's a really unique character and a really interesting journey for David Rice, and conceptually, you know, teleportation is just very cool. He's sort of your run-of-the-mill, average, all-American, you know, easygoing guy. You know, he then is sort of forced into becoming this sort of reluctant hero, I guess, you know, and that, you know, sort of transformation is one that he resists all the while. You know, he doesn't want this responsibility. He doesn't want to, you know, fight in any war. He just wants to be left alone for the most part. And so, you know, the events around him force him to sort of grow up a bit, and stop running away from all of his problems, because it's so easy for him. You know, that's sort of his superpower. He has, you know, the ability to run away better than anybody else. He's sort of caught in an unusual predicament. He falls through the ice on a riverbed, and is sort of trapped in the rushing current, and you know, out of desperation, you know, he's fighting, trying to figure out what he's going to do, and then, you know, all of a sudden he's in the public library, and doesn't know how he got there, what the heck happened, doesn't know if he just dreamt the whole thing, and then it's, you know, a process of it happening again to him and again to him, that he realizes that it's actually an ability that he's developed, and that's how he, you know, discovers that he can teleport. There are rules, you know, to teleportation, to jumping. You have to, one, have been there before, or have it within eyesight. You can't just jump to some place that, you know, you've seen a picture of, or some place that you know, you've seen on TV. You have to have either been there or see it. Outside of that, you know, there are no rules. With nobody in there, it was, you know, you're walking into the Coliseum as the sun is coming up, and entering, you know, this place that has such, you know, historical, you know, greatness, and you walk in there and you have the whole thing to yourselves, and it was just a very sort of magical feeling. You know, definitely not your typical day at work. But it was amazing. I think it was something that, you know, everyone sort of shared, was this sort of sense of being in awe of where we were filming. They put me in the boxing gym trying to teach me how to fight. I had to take scuba diving lessons because there's a whole, you know, underwater portion to the movie. But for the most part, I just really had to prepare myself for the beating that I was about to take for the next, you know, half a year. Because every day I'd go to work and, you know, something would go wrong with my characters, you know, attempting to jump somewhere, or you know, running into a, you know, a character that he wasn't hoping to run into, and he would get either beat up or, you know, tossed around, and every day I went home with a new bruise, and you know, with a little bit of satisfaction as well. I can't say I didn't enjoy it, but you know, they definitely put us through the gauntlet. Doug's approach to how he was going to film the actual jump itself sometimes involved having multiple versions of the same character. So, you know, for me, sometimes I'd go to set and there'd be 2 or 3 other people dressed exactly like me, and which was a bit weird at first. But it meant that, you know, Doug, in sort of one take, could film me in one place doing one thing, and then, you know, when I go to jump, you know, he can, you know, swish pan across to a, you know, a different version of the same character, you know, on his back walking away, and, you know, it'll be a seamless shot. where we shot the movie, sort of, for me, was great on both levels, in that we did a lot of our filming in Toronto, which is where I'm from, so I got to be close to home, which was nice. And then because of the teleportation aspect of the story, we were traveling all over the world, shooting the actual locations that these characters go to. You know, so we went from, you know, Tokyo to Rome to Paris to Mexico, and that's just so far. Doug Lyman was initially what really sparked my interest. You know, he's a director that I think everyone has great respect for. You know, he makes great films and is considered to be a very, you know, creative guy. You know, so I was really thrilled at the prospect of working with him, and the reality of it was just, you know, 100-fold. You know, he was a real pleasure, and I think, you know, one of the few people that could have actually have told this story, if not the only one.